On Sunday at Mustard Seed, we had the beginnings of a conversation around Jesus' Sermon on the Mount as recorded in Luke chapter 6. We read that rather tricky passage about blessed are the poor and woe to you who are rich, because of course it's not immediately self-evident what the blessings of being poor are, or indeed what's so bad about being rich. If you're to believe people in our culture, you'd say it was exactly the opposite. But we talked about that on Sunday, and this coming Sunday, just to not lighten the mood too much, we're going to enter into that passage, Luke chapter 6 verses 27 to 36, which begins with the happy call to love your enemies. So, discipleship. Sometimes you've got to wonder, what was it that Jesus was on? Some kind of hippy-dippy stuff that made him want to love his enemies? No, not just him. He wanted us to love our enemies. How are we going to do that? That's not natural. And indeed, one of the things that makes human beings who we are is our incredible capacity to copy those around us. And that's how we learn. That's why we've developed such incredible technologies like a film studio in a mobile device that fits in your pocket. But one of the downsides of that is that we copy everyone around us. So it's great for education, sometimes not so good for social stability. And if people are being nasty to one another, things can escalate rather quickly. Interesting to watch the Ukraine and Russia at the moment. But what we need to learn to do is actually decide who we're going to copy and why. So Jesus says, if your enemies do harm to you, do good to them. If they ask for your coat, give them your inner shirt as well. If you whack you on one cheek, turn to them the other. And Walter Wink does some interesting interpretive work with some of those passages. But I want to draw the fact that Jesus then goes on to say, love your enemies just like your heavenly Father does, and shows grace to those who are against his ways. And one of the things that happens then is we start to transform the environment. It's not just that we become victim to it, or indeed are formed entirely by it, but we start to take an initiative and become creators like our Heavenly Father, because just as the Father creates the world, as we follow the Father and do things in keeping with the Father's way, the image in which we have been created, we can start to create the world that we would like to live in, a world where people don't hate each other. And even though there might be people who hate us and do harm to us, we don't have to perpetuate that or magnify it or escalate it. We can turn it around. We can diffuse it. We can be the people who love even when that's not what's coming towards us. So it's a very challenging passage. It's not natural. Again, supernatural. So we're not making light of that, and we're not saying that it's easy, but Jesus doesn't call us to do that which is impossible. He calls us to faithfulness. And as we walk in faithfulness to his ways, miraculous things do happen, and people's lives do change, and not least our own. So that's what we're going to be talking about on Sunday at Mustard Seed. Lovely to see people coming along to the chapel in the Quarry Green. Awesome to see people on the Zoom platform joining us that way. Can't see the people that might peek on us through Facebook Live or watch it later. Or indeed there are the sermons available on our YouTube channel, which I think are really worth checking out. Not just mine, but all the others that are up there. Got quite a collection. We've got the National Church Life Survey available online, so I'm going to send out a link to that in the weekly post if you want to participate in that survey and you don't receive the weekly post, make sure you give me your email address so I can send that to you. Yeah, that's about all for now. Stay faithful, you people. The world really needs faithful people who are following the way of Jesus at the moment. People that turn anger into love. People that don't reflect back bad behaviour, but instead transform that with good behaviour. Talk to you soon.